What's up, YouTube? Today we're going to talk about the M10 tank destroyer. We're going to talk about a couple variants here. We're going to talk about the M10, you're going to see footage of that, and you're going to see the Achilles, specifically the premium variant. It is also available in the Chinese tech tree as well as the French tech tree. So stick around, hang around, go ahead, like, subscribe, get all that stuff out of the way, and sit back and relax, and we're going to watch some tanks blowing up in the War Thunder. Here we go.
Trap, where's your time? Why? Cause I don't have a 9 to 5. Alright, I get that your standards high, but I'm not a random guy, I'm different. Literally, when I write my rhymes, you say you don't like that line, I'll switch it. Calm. You said you don't like my guys, you said you don't like my guys, you're tripping. Alright. Alright. Instagram got a lot of impressions. She think I'm a G and I don't need love, but I need some fun affection. If I fell off tomorrow, would you still love me? Man, I got 21 fresh like bitch. Not that when it catch the message. She doing lashes, something cosmetic. They shot, she read it. They slid in the DM with something generic. She don't even like going out, got a new outfit, but I know where to wear it. She think that I'm being this loyal when I'm in the street with a couple of Achilles. You ain't gotta worry about none of these hoes. I'm grown, I'm done with these bitches. Trap, where's your time? Why? Cause I don't have a 9 to 5. Alright, I get that your standards high, but I'm not a random guy, I'm different. Literally, when I write my rhymes, you say you don't like that line, I'll switch it. You say you don't like my life, you say you don't like my guys, you're tripping.
Alright, so I'm going to keep this pretty short. I think most people are aware. If you play in War Thunder, you should be aware of this tank destroyer. It's available in a lot of different tech trees. But I'm going to run down the highlights real quick. I'm going to start with the M10 GMC. Technically the Wolverine. It is essentially the 3-inch 76mm cannon mounted tank destroyer variant. I'll go into a little detail about that when we get to the other variants, but ultimately they all about play the same. So pretty much everything I say about the M10 can also apply to the Achilles and can also apply to the French and Chinese version of this vehicle. So we're just going to go right into the pros and cons found on the Wikipedia, and then I generally tell you whether I agree with that or I think it's crap. So here we go, pros and cons. Pros: main cannon penetration is good and very good for the rank, and damage is very good for the rank, can knock out many tanks. Yes, I mean I would agree with that. That's pretty much the only reason why I would tolerate playing the tank destroyer. If it's not good at destroying tanks, it's not worth playing. For other reasons we'll get into, specifically the turret rotation. So in my opinion, this is sort of the Americans' version of a casemate tank destroyer, except it does get a little bit of turret rotation, and you should play it that way. So the main cannon penetration and damage should be good, as it is intended to knock out tanks. So I would agree with that. Well worth doing. That's the reason why you're playing this. Mantlet sometimes absorbs shots with the armor. Yeah, that's true, especially with the volumetric. Sometimes when they hit you right there, it actually just sort of absorbs or bounces. Also, the front glacis is also a little bit bouncy. Sometimes it'll let the shot right through, sometimes it'll bounce, especially with the add-on armor, and that's like the fourth bullet point which we're getting to. But in terms of frontal protection, it's actually pretty good between the mantlet and the front glacis, especially with the add-on armor. So it's a little bouncy. But I wouldn't rely on it. But it's no Sherman, but it's pretty good. Good gun depression of -10 degrees. Yes, perfect for hold down positions. Obviously, it'd be great if it was high or lower, I guess, gun depression. But -10 degrees is very workable. Great for peeking and hold down positions. Yeah, it's usable. I find most of the hills in War Thunder don't accommodate a minus 10 degrees, but maybe I'm just using the wrong spots. But it's good for sniping and good for hiding a little bit. Already covered the front glacis, so I'm going to skip down to the next one, which is 5 crew members increase survivability. Yes, absolutely. You are paper thin in some places and pretty bouncy in others, and ultimately having 5 crew members keeps you in the fight. Admittedly within reduced capacity, but you will survive a lot more than you think you would, and that's certainly great. Let's see. Turret purpose-built tank destroyer allows for a wide field of fire compared to casemate's designs. Yeah, already covered this. It is basically a casemate, but you can rotate the turret. It's extremely slow to rotate the turret, but it provides a bit of extra flexibility that you would not have in the German and Soviet design. So that to me is the key advantage of the M10 Achilles tank destroyers. Powerful roof-mounted 50 cal M2 Browning can damage lightly armored vehicles or low-flying aircraft. Yeah, I mean, because of your low turret traverse speed, you're going to be using your 50 cal, and at this rank, aka, realistic battle 3.3, the Browning is quite powerful and can destroy or at least knock out some lightly armored vehicles that might otherwise be harassing you. I'm thinking specifically of like the low tier Puma, low tier BT7, low tier, any really fast wheeled vehicle that would normally run circles around you. The 50 cal can make them think about that again. It's probably not going to save you, but it might buy you some time and buy you some turret rotation speed maybe. So do not neglect your Brownings on this vehicle. Alright, access to modification add-on armor that increases hull protection significantly on the sides and the front. I mean, the sides, it's still going to pass right through. Don't count on your side armor. In the front, yes, it does make it more bouncy. I've covered that already. Alright. Has relatively no problem with getting up tiered. Okay, yeah, it's a realistic battle 3.3. I take it in 4.0, and I'm not sure what replaces it in the American tech tree, but I take it until it gets replaced. So now we're moving on to cons. Alright, mediocre turret traverse speed combined with its rather sluggish hull traverse locks it as a long-range sniper for most players. Close quarters combat is difficult as it often cannot get its gun on target in time. Yeah, I mean this is the weakness of this vehicle. It's the turret traverse means you're relying upon a hull traverse. Between the two of them, it's workable, but in close range versus a nimble opponent, you're hosed. So keep it back. Don't try and brawl with it unless you really know what you're doing. And probably most of the times I died, I was using it incorrectly, trying to brawl with it. So yeah, don't do that. It plays a little bit like some of the low tier German tanks that have a super slow traverse speed, but it's just got a better gun. So that's why I like it. But it does make it rather difficult to try and an urban environment, things like that. You're just going to suffer. All right. Base armor is quite thin, can get easily penetrated by common opponents. Yes, do not rely on your side armor. In my opinion, I think that still goes for any Sherman as well. You should play it kind of like a Sherman with a really slow traverse speed. Keep your front towards the enemy and try and get hull down. So yeah, don't rely on your armor. And if you bounce, then be happy about that, but don't rely on it. Open top, vulnerable to aircraft strafing and artillery strikes. Yes, this is also a big problem in low tiers where cast is so cheap. You're gonna get killed by airplanes every now and then. Alright, poor reverse speed won't save you from a dangerous encounter. I didn't notice the reverse being awful, but yeah, I mean, you're not going to want to put yourself in a position that you are going to want to escape. It's just don't rely on your mobility. All right, and then the final con here is only a 3.5 gun sight zoom, making it hard to shoot distant targets. I get around this by just using um, the binoculars and the shift fire. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, bust out your binoculars, click where you want your gun to be firing at, and go ahead and hold down the left mouse button for fire, and then press the shift key to switch into gun sight mode, and it will immediately fire. So it's almost like an advanced zoom, and you'll be able to see better by using that and not be so reliant upon your 3.5x gun sight zoom. So yeah, that's it. Rest of it, let's watch some footage of it. I do a pretty good okay with it. I really enjoy it. It took me a while to warm up to this vehicle, but that's one of my favorites, especially for low tier, especially the premium Achilles, as it is a rank 3. And sometimes when I just want to go out there and have fun and just play around low tier, yet I still want to participate in the event, it's great just to bust it out and try and carry some of these teams, man. They will make you carry if you are any good. So be prepared to be sweaty, even though you're just trying to relax. But it's a lot of fun either way. Rank 3 means it counts at least. So, yep. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you in the next one.